Hello and welcome to U.S. Armor. In this brief and informative video, we'll share with you how to correctly measure and fit an officer for their ballistic body armor. The importance of a properly measured customer is threefold. 1. A satisfied and happy officer. 2. A reduction in costs for returns, repairs, and shipment charges for a vest sent back to the factory for changes. This not only frustrates the customer who is waiting for their product, but also may decrease the amount of commission to the representative due to extra costs incurred for correcting a careless mistake in the measurement process. Lastly, and most important, an officer properly measured will be better protected and better prepared to perform their duties on the job. Remember, correct measurements are always the responsibility of the individual performing the measuring, not the officer. To prepare an officer to be measured, first, ensure officer is wearing their uniform, pants, and gun belt. Second, have the officer empty all shirt pockets of pens, cell phones, notebooks, or other miscellaneous items. Third, inform officer that they are to stand or sit comfortably while being measured. Fourth, ask the officer to not watch the person performing the measuring. They should not slouch, suck in, or stand tall in any way, as these will produce incorrect measurements of their torso. Lastly, ask the officer to stand relaxed and simply look straight ahead. Please remember to record the following measurements on the form provided by U.S. Armor. Male measuring. Chest. Ask the officer to raise both arms out to the side. Then loop the measuring tape around the officer's torso under the arms at the widest point of the chest, or roughly at nipple height. Ask the officer to drop their arms comfortably at their sides. Take the measurement and record the number on the form provided. Waist. Remind the officer to not inhale or suck in during this measurement. The sides of their vest will not touch if the officer is pulling in their abdomen in any way while being measured. With the officer's arms comfortably down at their sides, measure around the officer's torso at navel belly button height. Standing chest. Ask the officer to stand straight with arms down comfortably at their sides. Measure the distance vertically down the front of the officer's torso, starting at the officer's sternum notch, roughly at the second shirt button, down to the top of the gun belt. Center of back. Ask the officer to turn around. This measurement will determine the length of the back panel. Draw an imaginary line across the top of the officer's shoulder blades, approximately 3 inches down from collar seam. Start here, where a vest could be concealed, and measure down to the top of the gun belt. Belt to belt. The belt-to-belt measurement will provide the overall torso length and is that unique third angle which will be considered in reference to all other panel measurements. This measurement will also reveal any other inconsistent measurements up to this point. This is that critical third direction of measurement which allows the vest to have a much better fit overall. Measure from the top edge of the gun belt in back, then over the center of the shoulder and down to the top edge of the gun belt in front. Do not pull the measuring tape left or right. Simply allow the tape to fall naturally down so that it remains vertical during this measurement. Seated chest. Ask the officer to sit comfortably in a chair with arms at their side. The seated measurement is the most important measurement because it ensures the vest will not ride up and choke the officer when they are seated in a vehicle or at a desk. Remind the officer not to sit tall or slouch forward. Instead, instruct them to sit comfortably as they normally would in a vehicle and allow their arms to rest comfortably at their sides. Measure the officer's torso vertically, starting at the sternum notch down to the top of the gun belt. You can easily check the accuracy of your work up to this point by comparing the standing and seated chest measurements. The typical gap between the seated and standing chest measurement is roughly 2.5 inches, or roughly the width of 3 fingers. The next 3 line items are questions to the officer that the officer will answer verbally. Height, weight, side preference. All U.S. Armor concealable vests are made in side panel style, unless otherwise noted in the comments section at the bottom of the measuring form. With a side panel style, the ballistic panels will be slightly touching at the sides, offering the most protection and lowest amount of bulk. U.S. Armor also offers a gapped side panel style and an overlapping side panel style upon request. Female measuring. When sizing female officers, there are 4 extra line items that will be necessary in order to create the unique darting effect within the ballistic panels that U.S. Armor is known for. The following will guide you in the measurements distinct to a female officer. Center breast to center breast. Ask the officer to please place a finger over each nipple to identify the center breast location for measurement. Measure the distance from finger to finger. It is not necessary to touch the body during this process. You can position the tape under the first knuckle and measure the distance from first knuckle to first knuckle. This distance will be the same. Center breast to top of gun belt. Ask the officer to keep one finger stationary at either the right or left breast to mark the center breast location. Take the measurement from the finger vertically straight down to the top of the gun belt. Again, it is not necessary to touch the officer's body in order to obtain this measurement. You can again place the measuring tape at the first knuckle of the forefinger and measure down to the top of the gun belt. The distance will be the same. The next two line items are questions to the officer that the officer will answer verbally. Bra size, cup size. A vest can only stop a bullet if it is worn. If a vest is improperly fitted or is improperly worn, it can be a safety hazard to an officer and their partner, as an officer's quality of life, agility, and overall tactics are inhibited. A recent survey showed that law enforcement officers' top complaints about body armor are lack of comfort and a poorly fitting vest. A custom-fit ballistic vest, worn correctly, is the most vital piece of duty gear an officer can wear. U.S. Armor. You'll wear it.